Hey, Mr. Benson here, and in this next SketchUp tutorial here, what I'd like to show you is how to bring in objects created by other people. So what we have is something called the SketchUp 3D warehouse, where anybody can take a model that they've created and upload it there for other people to use. Pretty cool. And there's some really talented people who upload things that can be really helpful. So with this project, I'm thinking that it might be a really good thing for you to do. So if I go up here to Get Models on my toolbar, that's one way to do it. However, it's not working for me. Notice when I click it, I get this. It says JavaScript is not enabled. Please check security settings. So that's not working. So if you try that and you get this, you'll have to follow these next steps. If that works for you, you'll be able to just say load into model from there. Okay, so what you'll do now if it's not working is we're going to open up Google Chrome and go to the 3D warehouse. So you can just Google search 3D warehouse SketchUp, or it's 3dwarehouse.sketchup.com, and it's available here. So on here you can see already tons of models that other people have created. Everything from cars to bikes to buildings and kitchens and things like that. So a lot of cool stuff. Now I will say something to be mindful of is that some of these models are absolutely huge and really complicated. Once you load one of those really complicated models in, SketchUp can start running really poorly. So just be careful of that. If you load a model that just is way too big, you might have to find something else if it's not working well. Okay, so let's say I'm going to do the balcony scene from Romeo and Juliet, and I'm going to look for just a tree to have in next to like Romeo while he's standing on the ground. And notice when I search tree, I have massive amounts of trees. Okay, so lots of different things, large trees, small trees. You're going to have some 2D trees as well, meaning they'll be like completely flat like the model character is in SketchUp. So you want to be a little careful of that. And you can always go look at these trees. And that one looks pretty good. So I can even turn on this button, which allows me to look at it in 3D. And that's a pretty good little tree. I think that would be good for my model. So what I'm going to do when I find something I want, I'm going to say download, and I would just do the 2015 model. And that's going to download to my computer. And I've already downloaded a couple, so that's going to download to my desktop. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go find that in my desktop, and I'm going to move it into a folder right here called SketchUp Models, just so I know I have everything in there. So I might even go back here, and while that one's downloading, I might search Juliet. So I'm looking for like maybe a character to use. And notice here I have Juliet, and over here I have Romeo, which is really nice. So I'm going to just go ahead and download Juliet by pushing that button. And I'm going to download Romeo right there. Okay, so now I have a few models to look at. The balcony, I might even want to, here's like Juliet's balcony, I might download that. That's pretty cool. Lots of stuff on here, not sure why there's guns, but a lot of different things to look at that might be helpful. There's a whole actual like Act 5 Scene 1 like available to you, so kind of cool. So now what I'm going to do, I got a few models, and those kind of got downloaded here, so I'm going to put them in SketchUp Models. Make sure I just keep them all in a folder for me. And I'm going to open SketchUp back up, and I just have this kind of random box, but I'm going to go ahead and open up my folder here, and I can just drag in those objects. Sorry, my video up here is kind of getting in my way. But notice I can bring in Romeo now. I'm going to bring in Juliet. And maybe this ficus tree. Okay, so now I have all these models in. Now notice some of them came out rather huge. Romeo's kind of a giant. And in my previous video, I said I leave in this guy, I think his name's Steve, because it helps me with figuring out size. So he's the size of a normal human man, and notice Romeo is the size of a building. So I'm going to go ahead now and size my characters down a little bit to the correct size. So I'm going to select Romeo here, and I'm going to get the scale tool, which is right here, and I'm going to scale him down to about the right size here. He's still a little tall maybe, so I'm going to scale him down a little more. And that tree might be a little big, so I'm going to do the same thing for that tree. It's a big old tree. And I'm going to scale that down a little bit as well. And now I have giant Juliet. So I'm going to scale her down a little bit. She's a little huge. Alright, so now I'm starting to have my model come together, and I'm using things from other people. So hopefully now you know how to bring in items from the 3D warehouse, and this helped you out. So thanks for watching.